Good evening and welcome to our Ashes series review. The 2017-18 Ashes is over and, well, I think it's just about as what we predicted. England defeated quite convincingly in the end. I'm just moving your audio up a bit, Toby, so that you can say a big hello to everybody that's watching. The two that are watching at the moment. Actually,
Hello.
one watching. So you must have gone, have you?
Yeah, no, I'm still here.
He's still there. Okay.
It's jumping up and down, but
five. There we go. We've got
hey!
5 people. There we go. Hello, everyone.
Hey!
And yeah, just to let you know, we're going to do a full Ashes series review in this one. We're not going to bother with the 4th and 5th test. They happened over the festive period, and me in particular, I was quite busy, and Toby's had mock exams the last week and going into tomorrow as well, I think. So yeah, we've been busy lately, and there's not much point anyway. It's pretty much just what's happened all series, and evening to Christian Spink and great Jamie and Rivlud, who was briefly in the chat, but he's not there anymore. He's got work tonight, so a nice load of work for him. And when you're watching the video, Rivlud, a big hello. We should have got him to send some questions, Toby, shouldn't we? So we could have answered them. But anyway, shall we get on with it? I don't know how you want to do this. Do you want to go test by test, or do you want to go... Or do you want to... Oh, go on.
I think because we've got a lot of people coming in, we'll just have a little discussion for a few minutes. Wait till everyone gets in, and I think we'll answer some questions first off, because I think the questions that people might have might relate to the topics we'll talk about. So it'll go full circle, I think. But first off, before anyone asks any question, I've just told you weren't surprised because I think you had a look. Where do I start? The leading run scorer for us was Milan. I couldn't quite believe that. And that was quite astonishing. Obviously for them it was Steve Smith with nearly double that amount. But for us, that's really good. Of course, looking at our squad, the only player not to get a start was Ben Folkes. Is it Ben Folkes? It is, isn't it? Yeah. Obviously, bar Stokes, because Stokes obviously didn't play due to unforeseen and outside circumstances, I think it's fair to say. But I think it's fair to say, looking actually at some of these runs, I mean, the likes of Bancroft, I mean, he was an opener for Australia, wasn't he? And he only scored 179 in the whole 5 matches. So actually, I think he was a real disappointment. So, I mean, that's a good one to see there.
The thing with Australia, though, you have to remember that they won 2 of the matches by an innings. Therefore, they had less innings than us.
I mean, but he did still bat for 8 innings, according to this stat we've got here. And that's the same amount of innings that Warner obviously batted in, and Warner scored over double the amount of runs. So you can look at that in retrospect, can't you? But Marsh doing very well. Sean Marsh with 445 as well. Of course, the likes of Anderson, maybe with 8 runs off 5 matches. Not the best, but let's gloss over that. But for us, I think, we were a bit harsh on the likes of Cook and Root, saying that Cook hasn't had a good series. But what you've got to take into account with Cook, he had 1 good score. And that was go on, don't tell me, it was the 4th match?
Test, yeah. It was the 4th test, first innings.
Yeah, 244. So, apart from that, he scored a grand total of 132 in 8 innings,
which is terrible.
Yeah,
that's less than 20 averages,
and that's less than Bancroft got, and in fact, that's less than Pat Cummins got in the hot.
It's less than Stuart Broad got.
In fact, it's nearly less than Stuart Broad got. I know he got his 50, but let's just, for argument's sake, ignore that. But
it is less than Stuart Broad got.
Yeah.
132.
Yeah.
The last time I checked, it is less than that. But we've got a little bit of comment in the chat. By the way, if you heard a big noise before, there's a police helicopter circulating above my house. So if I get taken away, then Toby can continue.
I'll have you log in for your YouTube as well. I'll take your subscribers while you're out.
Well, yeah, you might as well. You might as well. Anyway, so Isaac Jealous says Captain Godspeed is a legend. Who on earth's Captain Godspeed?
I know, who is he?
Thank you very much. Where do I start? Oh, you read that one. Going to take a few years until England went down under. I mean, it's going to be at least 4, isn't it? So, you could say that. Great Jamie, the 5th test was an embodiment of all of our problems. Cook and Stoneman and Vince not getting runs. The English bowlers couldn't get 10 wickets in the game, whilst the Aussies got 20 wickets. That's how you win cricket matches. Isaac said Gary Ballance didn't play, so lead on from what you said about Ben Foakes being the only person. I think Gary Ballance was as well. And Jono Martin, good evening, Jono. How are you doing? Does the county game need improving in the development of young cricketers coming on as it should? I don't think it's actually an improvement in the county game. I think I was talking to you about this, Toby, about cricket dying out and just not enough young people playing it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think people play it at school, but then there's not really the
kind of vocational sort of people playing for actual competitive level, I think is the word I'm trying to get
there's
to.
not enough money in it at the end of the day. I don't think cricketers get much more than unless you're at the top of the game. I don't think they get much more than a normal full-time job. Do you know what I mean? So
but at the same time, I mean, you look at most of the county cricketers, there's a big step from general first class up to test match cricket.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And a lot of these players, aren't given enough time, because in the end of the day, unfortunately now, there is, I mean, is it a benefit or not? There's maybe a little bit too much test cricket played, and a little bit too much cricket played. So these players maybe don't get as much rest. But they don't really get a chance, some of them do, whereas some players get too much chance, if that makes sense. Too many players get too many chances, and every time they don't do well. But yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, it's not necessarily dying out, but there are a lot. I mean, well, I presume in the places we live in, there aren't much, even though Kevin Peterson, oh God, he came to my town. That's a hint for any of you stalkers as to where I live. But he was we're not going to get into what Kevin Peterson is, but I don't know how I'm trying to go with this. But anyway, I think we've kind of got to that. I know Toby loves this bit about player ratings, but firstly, another question from Isaac. Who disappointed you the most for England? I'll give a short and sweet answer, and I'll let Joe have a bit of a yap about it. Ali, 100%. Joe?
Is that Ali Cook or Mona? No, I know who you mean. You know what? I think Joe Root. I think Joe Root, because he is our sort of player that we look to get hundreds. And we've just had a subscriber, but if you're watching, Sean, say hello. But that totally lost me. Anyway, Joe Root, yeah, he. I got all excited. I thought we had a donation for a second, Toby. No, Joe Root. He got, what was it, 250s maybe? Oh no, he got 550s apparently. No,
bear in mind, no, that's the stats basically a bit. Well, I don't know. I don't think those stats are correct in some aspects. Just ignore the stats, read up to the runs. I don't think you got 550s anyway.
Well, 550s would take him to 250. Well, he might have, I don't
know. He might have, to be honest.
Can anybody let us know in the chat whether he did? Because if he did,
I'll try and work it out.
Not bad. 550s in 9 innings is not bad at all. But I personally think... But
he did, yeah. He got 5.
How odd.
He got 51 in the first match. He got 67 in the second, 61 in the fourth, and then an 83 in the fifth, as well as a 58 not out, of course, in the fifth as well. We had to retire.
Okay, yeah. So I guess like fourth and fifth test matches skewing it a lot.
So are you going to change your disappointment to Cook?
No, because I knew he would be rubbish anyway. So no, I think I'm with you. Mo and Ali was very poor, but Joe Root should have been doing better.
Yeah,
an average of 47 is all right, but he only really put it on once the Ashes were over.
Yeah.
With the ball, maybe Anderson.
Ali.
I don't know. Oh, well, Ali, yeah.
Well, Anderson was the leading wicket taker for us, so
Yeah. It's just whether it's
Broad,
whether you
I think.
expect more from Anderson. 17 wickets in 5 matches isn't very good. Do you know what I mean?
Broad's time's over, I think. I think Broad's time's over.
I mean, but does that mean Anderson's is as well?
No,
We've got a
Anderson
lot
could
of
still
activity in the chat.
Yeah. I'm just keeping it where it is. I'm not moving the chat anyway. But a bit more on what we're talking about with Sid. Sid Motorsport. Cook and Root had to stand up, but they didn't. Captain Steve Smith showed why he's captain. Yeah, I can understand that. The only thing I will say about Root in Root's defence, we rely on Root a bit too much, I think. I mean, he's our captain, and I understand that he should be our leading player. However, we rely on him a little bit too much, I think, because Cook's inconsistent, I think. And Root is to a degree. I mean, Root either goes very cheaply or he gets a respectable score. There's no in the middle with Root, I don't think. Contrary to my Ashes career mode on the Ashes game. But ignore that. But I agree with him. But we'll talk a little bit more about player ratings later. So I think it's fair enough to leave those questions till a little bit later. But if the one-day international team win the series with Ben, by the way, Ben Bastock, will it beg the question, why aren't many one-dayers in the test team? I've said this before, and I said it about 5 minutes ago. The same goes for first class, it does one-dayers. It's all right being able to smash the ball around. The jump from ODI to test match is massive. And the likes of Rashid, the only real reason I think that Rashid gets wickets is because in one-day matches, players go and swing the bat and take a bit more risk. But in test match cricket, I think Rashid had just not done too well. Plunkett, I've always backed him as being a test match player, but I don't think has really, when he's been given the chance, really made the grade. And Jason Roy as well. Very good one day. I think the same goes for Alex Hales as well. But I don't think he could go there to test matches. Isaac as well. I think England should trust young players. Yeah, I can understand what you're saying, but who is there coming through that you go, oh, wow. I mean, you've got Liam Livingstone who's been called up for the one-day matches. If he does well, there's a potential he could appear in the test squad. But
I think he has been called up for the New Zealand squad, Liam Livingstone.
Okay.
Not the actual New Zealand team. I mean, like the
Yeah.
I think that's what I was reading, but I might be wrong. Because there's something about Stokes has been called up to that as well. But
I'm just going to copy Great Jamie's comments about the ratings. So we'll come back to the ratings a little bit more often. A bit more often. Adream and Sahar, because most of them support. Who disappointed the most? Stokes didn't even turn up. Well, true. Sid, thing with county cricket is that there's too many teams and you can't really see skill. In the Oz domestic teams, there's 5 teams, only the best play top-level domestic cricket. Well, from what I can understand in the English system, there's two divisions, aren't there? And the top division is much better than the second division. But county cricket, you can't really read into too much because there are foreign players as well that play in the county cricket. I mean, doesn't Nathan Lyon play for... Oh, God. He plays for one of the English teams, I think. I might get that wrong. I might have got that completely wrong.
My knowledge of county cricket is very poor at best, so...
Yeah, so is mine. But, great, Jamie. I'll continue on that comment. I'll just copy that over again. Crikey.
Big hello to Saijuro, by the way. Big hello, because he said hello, but Toby didn't say hello back, so I thought I'd say hello. Pakistan all out for 74 versus New Zealand.
Dear me.
So, New Zealand might be quite good. Steve-O. Root got 550s. He certainly did. Well, I didn't know that. Did England miss Ben Stokes during the Ashes? I think yes and no. I think, yes, he would have had a positive effect on us, and it probably would have led to Ali being dropped sooner. But
the thing is with Stokes is that he was never going to play anyway, so hindsight is a great thing, but it's not one of them that, we could have picked Stokes. We just couldn't have picked him, so even though we did miss him.
But I don't think he would have had any impact on the outcome of the Ashes.
No, not massively. No.
We might have won the 4th Test match, but you know, I don't think we would have won any of the other one. Maybe the Adelaide one as well. So we could have made it 3-2. But
yeah.
I don't think Ben Stokes would have been the difference to us turning over a 4-0 defeat in the Ashes. Where am I? There we go. Pakistan are so bad at New Zealand and Australia. I mean, like us, yeah. I was reading a great article on the BBC actually about, is cricket the hardest sport to win away from home? And, I think results would suggest yes. And they were saying maybe this is leading to less people watching cricket because pretty much that the home team is going to win in most cases, unless you've got, like, I don't know, Bangladesh versus Australia. But even then, Bangladesh might win. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah,
it was a good article. I would recommend it if any of you guys want to read that. It's on the BBC Sport app or website, I guess. Root made 300 plus runs. Is that true?
Yeah, that's right.
Goodness, yeah, he did actually. Yeah, I remember working it out. Opinions on Mason Crane?
Decent start.
Yeah, he got a wicket, didn't he? So
yeah, he got a wicket, which is more than could be said for Milan in his 21 overs. No, I'm joking. But decent start. The most important thing is that he didn't get completely sort of
obliterated.
Yes, that's the word. I was trying to think of something a bit formal. But yeah, obliterated is the correct word there. I think Tom Curran did well. I was quite pleased with Tom Curran.
Yeah.
Batting wise, he was decent.
Batting wise, he was. Yeah.
I think that Roland Jones is a better player, but because he couldn't be out for the series, then he's not. But it'd be interesting to see Roland Jones back at home when he's back to full fitness, because I've got a lot of faith in Roland Jones. I think he's a really good player that could come through. Broad was very, very bad, as we said. I agree. Poor conversion rate for Root.
I seen that on Sky Sports actually. They had the top 4 batsmen in the world, and the likes of Kohli and Steve Smith tend to get 50% of every 50 they turn into 100. But with Joe Root, it's less than 25%. So that says it all. Like less than 1 in 4 50s are turned into hundreds, and that's something he's going to have to work on. But I'd certainly rather he made 50 than single figures, which Cook seems to do, because Cook seems to get single figures or very low scores and then go and score 2, 4, 4. I think Root with his consistency just plods along. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. Do you want to go
on? Yeah, I agree. Let's have a quick look. Dan Lawrence for Essex should play. As we said, we don't really know much about county cricket, but we'll have a look at his stats in a little bit anyway. Livingston, Can't believe Vince has been picked for New Zealand. Again, we'll have a look at ratings a little bit later on to see what we think of that. Yeah, I agree. What's happened to Hamid? He had a hand injury, I think, at one point. And as a result, I don't think he's been considered afterwards.
Well,
but
he got injured last year and then played terribly for Essex over the summer.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it was. The reason he went out of the England side was due to injury, but then the reason he hasn't come back is because he was terrible for Lancashire. So it wasn't Essex. I think I said Essex before, but it was Lancashire. Dan Lawrence is all right on cricket captain, but as I should know, that isn't a representation of true form. So John O'Martin's good. He's just got home from a long shift at work. I'm glad to hear that you're good.
Cricket's the hardest because it's probably most condition dependent. Yeah, agreed. Mm-hmm. Jamie questioning us again, keeping us on our toes. Decent start. It's 1 for 191. Decent. Well, it's a wicket at the end of the day. I don't really know what else to say. I'd have rather him got that than got 0 for 100. He's got off the mark. That's the most important thing, and he's been given a solid chance. But did Ali do much better than that? You know what I mean? He got 5 wickets from 575, so that's only that's only a little bit better And Ali's supposed to be
115, isn't it? That's
so Ali's supposed to be a fantastic spinner. Well, I think that's a decent start compared to that. Bangladesh beating Australia in Bangladesh. Interesting. Bangladesh are unpredictable. I think Bangladesh are better than people think they are.
Yeah, I was just using it as an example because, like, I feel like, I don't know, Australia are more likely to beat Bangladesh away from home than they are South Africa or England or something.
Yeah, fair comments. Yeah.
I should have just said Zimbabwe, and then we would have all been in agreement.
Milan should be at 3 for Steve-O. I think where he's at the moment is good. I'd keep him there. A bit like Root. I mean, there was talk about putting Root as opener before. Root scores runs, and clearly so does Milan, according to this series. So I would keep Milan where he is for the moment. Let him score his first 1,000 runs as a test player, and then maybe move him. It all depends what happens after that, but I would make sure that he's a secure player after that. England should be careful against New Zealand. Yeah, they're a good squad. I don't think they're as good as Australia, but yeah. How would you deal with England's young fast bowlers, Stone, Wood? Anyway. Well, I've picked up on Wood there. Mark Wood I'd really say he's a one-day bowler. I don't really think he was there. Slightly unfair on Ali, wasn't 100% fit. And you make a good point, you make a good counter-argument. Yeah, should have been dropped, sure, but that can't really be his fault. No, it can't. And you can lay a bit of blame on the selectors there because, well, I just don't think he'd have done fantastically better if he'd have been at full fitness anyway, because Ali's been poor for not a while because, in the summer he got that fantastic hat-trick, which won the series against South Africa, I want to say. But we'll move on to Ali a little bit later. Bangladesh beating Pakistan, yeah. Fast bowlers essentially contract or tell the countries to play them. Okay, that's interesting. I've been hitting on England, but even in Stokes, I predicted for Australia 4, England 1. That's pretty much happened. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I predicted 5-0 Australia, so, I was quite close. What's your opinion on Hassan Ali? That's the Pakistani batsman, isn't it?
Don't ask me. Probably. I think so. Yeah. I think so.
I mean, we've got a good knowledge, I'd say, of England cricket, but apart from that, not really much else. Should be looking at a potential new opener to replace for Cook. Oh God, Can we not talk about openers again?
I mean, we've talked about it and sort of said, yeah, it would be great if we could replace Cook, but the problem is, and we said it before, there's nobody really underneath them that can challenge, and we kind of need Cook more than he needs England at the moment. Like, he could quite easily go and retire, but that would be disastrous for us. I think I was talking to you, Toby, about the next sort of 3-4 years are huge for England because the big players are going to go, like Anderson, Broad, Ali's getting on a bit, Cook's going to go, and all of a sudden you're left with 3 or 4 places, guaranteed places in the test squad, just gone, and then having to bring in new players, and it's sort of very similar to the sort of mid-2000s for England when the likes of Vaughan and Flintoff went, and they had to bring through the likes of Broad and Cook, I guess, and but I don't see the same like-for-like replacements at the moment. But fast bowlers centrally contract or tell the counties to play them. I'm assuming that's a question of whether we should give the fast bowlers central contracts. I don't see why not, really. Like, who else are you going to give them to? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Anderson and Broad, as much as you said Broad's finished, he may well be, but I don't think England are going to drop him, so...
No. Interesting point about Tom Wesley coming in from Jack Cabs here.
Okay.
Comes in for Vince.
You like Wesley, don't you?
I like Wesley, but I think the harsh treatment of Vince in the chat shouldn't be there. Stop treating Vince badly. What's Vince done? I don't understand what Vince has done so badly that's made him, everyone, drop him.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is about Vince, he's only scored 250s in the series, and one of them was on the first day. Do you know what I mean? So it's a difficult one with Vince because he's, in all honesty, never really performed at test level. But then it's the kind of thing where we're being very satisfied by people that are actually putting in half decent performances sometimes, and that shouldn't necessarily be the way. I think other people that are saying, "Oh, drop all these players," are thinking, well, these are rubbish. 10 years ago, these would have just been dropped, but we don't have much else at the moment. We've got the likes of Livingston, Dan Lawrence has been mentioned, but not many people come to mind when you're thinking of replacements for these guys. And obviously Stokes is going to come back at some point, you would think, and give us a bit more depth with Batten, but I think it's going to be tough. Tom Wesley, I'm not a big fan of him, but you are. He'll probably do a decent job. He is very similar to Vince, I think, in the fact that he'll quite often, or not, I should say not very often, go and get a 50 and then the rest be quite mediocre. But
yeah, he's got potential though. I think when you watch him, this was at the time when Jennings was in the side. He was a lot better than Jennings, and I know I'm harsh to Jennings, but Jennings just, well, let's not talk about Jennings because Jennings was crap. But I agree with great Jamie for once here. He wasn't quite disgraceful in the summer, but he wasn't brilliant. Vince averaged mid-20s, didn't do that well. Number 3's always been a problem for a while now, hence why we brought Wesley in, hence why we tried Balance, and now Vince. The rest of that sort of stuff. I can't think what I was going to say here. Jack Cabs just subscribed, probably about 40 seconds behind I am. But I can't think what I was going to say. I think we'll answer a few more questions and then we'll go straight into the player ratings. So I think going through here, the last question is, how much the loss of Trott, James Taylor and KP affected England? Massively, but it's just something that happens. And as Jeff said earlier, it's just one of them things that we're going to have in a few years, as you said earlier, isn't it, really?
Yeah, exactly. Big thanks to Jack Cabs for subscribing, by the way. I really appreciate that. There was a couple of comments about Pakistan have only lost one test series in Dubai in 10 years, which is pretty crazy, to be honest. And Hassan Ali is the world number 1 ODI bowler. And he apparently killed England in the Champions Trophy. So, I don't know. So yeah, with Trott, I think he sort of went off the boil anyway towards the end of his career. KP, his last series, he was the top run scorer, so that is a bigger impact, I think. But I think it wasn't just losing Peterson. I think it was all of the controversy around it and all of the sort of, will he come back, when he came back to play for Surrey, and Andrew Strauss had said, oh, there's a chance he could get picked, and everybody was focusing on Peterson, and then all of a sudden England, I don't know, have just been a bit ruffled lately. Obviously James Taylor, unfortunate what happened to him with his heart condition, but it happens. I don't think James Taylor was a particularly strong player for us anyway, so it's the way it goes, I guess. CJ plays and talks tune. All right, Joe, not interested in cricket. No offense. 3-0 Spurs. I haven't got a clue what he's on about. Who was Spurs playing?
Spurs against Everton. Yeah, playing against Everton.
Okay.
Anyway,
I don't have any feeling towards any of those teams. So
anyway. No, not too bothered.
Go on.
We're going to talk about a bit player ratings, I think it's said to say. So, I think we need to go through the squad. We'll go through with great Jamie's first, so I know he'll love me to do that. So, this is just for Sydney, bear in mind. Cook, 2, awful. Stoneman, 1, even worse. Vince, 1. Ali, 1. Bairstow, 2. Anderson, 2. Broad, 2. Curran, 3. Root, 6. And Milan, 6. Very harsh there. Harsh. So let's go, we're going to do it. I think we're going to do it quite quickly. We don't have to keep going yap all the time. But we're just going to go through the England players, really. Maybe maybe with a few of the Aussie players. So let's start from out of 10, I'll let you start first. Who has been your best player of the series for us?
Ooh. You know what? I have to say it and admit it because, I doubted him before it. I doubted him in the summer, but Milan, I think, has been the more solid player that we've had. I think he averages 42 in the series, which for where he actually plays is pretty decent, to be fair. And he got that century, and 350s as well to go along with that. And he got a 6, and not many people in the series got a 6. Although Stuart Broad got 4 apparently, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, I think Milan was the best batsman for us, at least.
And what race would you give him?
I don't know. I think after the summer he had an 8. I think.
Yeah,
I think he did very well. I think he did very well.
Okay. Other end of the spectrum, we were saying Ali, weren't we?
Yeah, Ali or...
So what rating would you give Ali? But anyway, we can't be too harsh,
1? I don't know.
Okay, that's interesting.
I think, 179 runs at an average of 19 and only 5 wickets in presumably 10... Well, no, it'll be 8 bowling innings, I think. So, not good enough from Ali. But he wasn't fully fit, but that's besides the point. He still performed the way he performed. Just to quickly interrupt it, somebody said Cook at 3 with a question mark, and I don't know whether he was joking or not, but that just seems
stupid.
Yeah, and a good stat there from Steve-O. He's opened for 150 tests in a row, so
why would you do any different now?
Yeah. Jack Cabs has put quite a long comment, so he's only just joined the live stream about 10 minutes ago. Apologies if you've already spoke about him, but do you think Stoneman has nailed his place next to Cook opening? We'll probably talk about that in a second when we get to his player rating.
And we can do that now if you want.
Yeah, should we do Stoneman?
Yeah, I'm quite happy to. So I'll go first this time if you want. As you say, Jack, it's Jack, isn't it?
Yeah, Jack Cabs.
He has done well, 232 runs in 5 matches and 9 innings, an average of 25. That's better than Bancroft, who was the Australian opener. And even though he didn't score the most runs, he has potential. I agree with you there. And he scored 34s, quite a few singles, twos, whatever you want to call them, just runs really. And I think he did well. So I would probably give him, although he wasn't fantastic, bearing in mind we gave Milan an 8, I would give him a solid 5, which isn't terrible. It's just a solid middle of the road, I think, for him. What do you think, Joe? Would you go higher or lower?
What did you give him?
5.
5. Maybe just push him on to 6. I don't know, because if Cook didn't get that 244, Stoneman would have easily outscored him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So Cook is a very experienced player. He's had, I don't know, his 4th tour of Australia. He's opened for 150 tests in a row. He's scored over 10,000 runs. He's a pretty good guy to go up against, and Stoneman beat him this series, to be quite honest with you. Cook's average and everything is skewed massively by 1 innings. Which can be taken as an outlier. As a statistician, you can just get rid of that one. But no, Stoneman, I think he's at least bought himself, I think, until the end of the summer. And if he's not performing after then maybe he'll get dropped. But I think he's at least bought himself the New Zealand bit. Maybe there'll be a few question marks if he has a poor series there. But no, I think he's done well enough myself.
Okay, so I think we'll have a look at some of the newcomers.
Did you give Ali a rating, by the way?
2, I'll go with that. You went with a 1, didn't you? So I'll go 2. Why not? I think we'll go with 2 of the newcomers. So obviously we've got Ball. Well, Ball's not a newcomer, but he only played 1 match. Ball, who played 1 match, as well as Mason Crane. What do you think?
3, 4, something like
Yeah,
that. I don't know.
for both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really get much time to prove themselves, so not necessarily like they did too badly, but they didn't do too well at the same time. So I'd probably go 4 for both of them as well. I don't really think we need to spend too much time reflecting on them. Overton, how well do you think Overton did?
I think he did all right. I think about a 6. He batted all right. He bowled quite well. Let's have a look at his wickets. How many wickets did he get?
Just the one.
Did he? Okay.
I don't know. He might.
No, he
have
got
more.
6. He got 6.
Oh, never mind.
Overton, yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, 6 at an average of 37. You know, at Test cricket you want an average under 30, but 37 isn't bad for your first 2 matches. So, you know, I'd give him another chance, and he batted all right as well. So, yeah, I think about 6. I think he impressed me. I'd never really. I'd heard of the Overton brothers, but I'd never seen him mentioned much before this Ashes series. So.
The captain then, Joe Root?
First 3 matches, I'd say about 3 or 4, but then the last 2 matches, I think probably about a 7 or 8. So you're looking at about 5 or 6, but then that's been a little bit generous, I think. I think he did underperform, but if it wasn't for Root, then things would have been a lot worse. So, you know, I think he was one of the better ones of a very bad bunch. So, you know, 5. I'm going for it.
I'll go a bit more generous. I'll go for a 6. You know, whatever. Going down the batting order, James Vince, obviously, first Ashes series, you know, been out for a little while. And I would probably give Vince, because as you said before, apart from that first innings, which skews it a little bit, of 83, he only got 1 more 50 in the test. So I will go, as soon as I give Stoneman a 5, I will give Vince a 4.
A 4?
What about you, sir? Yeah.
Average of 26 for a number 3 is shocking. But it depends what we're doing it on. Comparative to other people, he's probably about a 6. But then, you know, being honest about it, probably a 4. Like you, I think he's somebody that can probably do well, but he's got to iron out these habits of where he just drives at the ball. You know, I do it on Ashes cricket, but it doesn't mean he can do it. You know, but nah, a 4, I think.
Bairstow?
I think in my mind, Bairstow's done all right this series, but then I'm looking at his stats. I mean, he averaged 34, which is.
But he got a century and then didn't get anything else really.
Yeah.
Of note.
Yeah, he didn't pass 50 at any other point, so it's again skewed. 4.
Yeah, I'd go the same as Vince. It's fair enough. Next player, we've talked about Ali. Stuart Broad.
I think. I mean, he did have one good bowling innings, didn't he? Where he got 4 for 51.
Right, Jamie said 0, unless you count Melbourne, which would be a 1, or Sydney, whichever one he said.
Well,
Melbourne, sorry. Yeah.
I don't know. Probably a 3. You know, a big disappointment, but you know he was our second highest wicket taker, so.
I'd go with 2. I just don't think he did very well.
No.
But you know, fair enough. Maybe a 3 if we count that innings that he had, that batting innings. I know it's not meant to be batting, but you know, whatever. But you guys been really easy on the team. Stoneman 5. What's wrong with Stoneman 5? You know, he
Thank
scored.
you to Fabian Laws for subscribing. Go on.
He got 232 runs, and to be honest, I think you're wrong there, Jamie. Not to be, you know, harsh or anything, but I think you're wrong there.
Where's he said this? Sorry, I don't.
He said what he thinks we're being generous on the team and really easy. You know, that's out of 10. That's 50%. If we look at it in the grand scheme of things, the likes of Warner and Marsh get 8s or 9s. And if we look at percentages, If he scored double the runs, he would have got the same amount of runs as Marsh
Yeah.
with another one.
Yeah.
So I think that's a logical result, and I think that's fair enough.
I think it's also like, what do you expect from Stoneman? You know, he's not going to get centuries every innings. You know, yes, we'd like to see him get 40s and 50s, but yeah, 25. Although it's not good, he was always sort of chipping away, and I think he had a couple of innings where he got single figure scores, and that kind of skews it the other way. We were talking about Cook skewing it with the 244, you know, a single figure score, which can happen to anybody, skews it the other way. No, I think 5 for Stoneman's all right. Shall we go? I don't know who we've done. Wokes, I guess. What about Wokes?
A bit uninspiring, to be honest. He did decently, but he was kind of a bit under the radar. 10 wickets, 114 runs. I will go 4, maybe.
4. I'm just looking at Wokes' average with the ball, 49.5, which is really bad. I mean, Broad was 47, so maybe I should reevaluate mine for him. His average with the bat is 16. A supposed all-rounder, he should be doing a little bit better. So I think 3 for Chris Wokes and 3 for Broad.
Just bear in mind, obviously, he has one less match. But he had quite a significant amount of lower overs than Broad, Anderson, and Ali.
Yeah, no, true, true.
Yeah, I think I'll go for 4 for Wokes, or maybe a 3. Closer to a 3 than a 4.
Yeah. 3.4 or something is what you're saying.
Yes, yeah, nice. Last player then, Jimmy Anderson.
I think he did all right, to be honest with you. He you know, an average of 27 with the ball, which is not too shabby at all. 17
better
wickets.
Than Lion, you know.
Yeah. 17 wickets, a best of 5 for 43. I think Jimmy Anderson did his best, and I think he actually deserves a 6 or a 7 myself.
Yeah.
You know.
And the fact that he was the most economical bowler in the whole series, I would therefore go with 7. Quite a secure 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. So that's the squad done. As I've said before, you know, the likes of Marsh and Warner get 8s or 9s. You know, the Australian bowling attack, Cummins, Stark, Haswood and Lyon, all greater than 6 or 7. But Bancroft is one that interests me. He didn't do very well, did he?
No, like looking at the stats, but then it's somebody that I haven't heard much about this series.
No.
So it's I don't know what his history is with Australia, so I don't know particularly what's going on there. Hanscom is another guy, but then he only played 2 matches.
Yeah.
I think Australia just did the job, really. You know, I think we played poorly rather than Australia playing brilliantly. You know, I think Australia did well, but, you know, if it wasn't for the likes of Smith and Marsh and Warner, I guess, would Australia be in the position that they are? Do you know what I mean? I mean, the next best batsman is Khawaja.
Yeah.
Who had one good innings, really. So, you know, it's the way you look at it. It's all subjective, really, and, you know, 5 matches, it's difficult to say.
Yeah.
You know, about were Australia actually that good? But Steve Smith averaging 137 is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
No, I think Australia were really good, but they're just not as good as we made them look. I think that's what I'll say.
Yeah.
You know, they did their job, and that's fair enough.
I think what a good place to sort of leave it, really.
Yeah.
You know, summarising in that, you know, they weren't that fantastic, and we made them look good. In the end.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to us having that awful ability to just collapse. You know, we always tended to get good starts and give ourselves a chance in every one of those games. I don't think there was ever a time when we were completely dominated for every single day of the match. and we always gave ourselves a chance. We couldn't take 20 wickets to save our life, and that's a problem, and I think that's a thing with England. Unless we're in England, we can't take wickets that easily because we haven't got that much variation. We've got swing bowlers, and that's about it. And we haven't even got a proper spinner, arguably, at the moment. So it's difficult, and I think we're going to really struggle in the away series over the next few years, and even at home once Anderson's gone, I think we're going to really struggle with bowling. So yeah, it's the way it goes. Let us know if you've got any final thoughts in the chat before we go away. According to Halam, he said Bangladesh a future world number one. I think that's a very bold statement. I don't know. Are you guys watching South Africa versus India? I like that from Arindam in 2199. Sure. So we won't be here to see that. I don't think.
I don't get all depressed now. Anyway, I think before we get any more questions, I'd just like to say, obviously you would have said this, but just making sure we do. Anyone who's watched any of because we've done quite a few reviews. We did obviously the review of the squad, first, second, third, and this technical Ashes review. Just thank you really guys for your support, because without you guys watching this, it would have been a bit boring for us, just sitting here talking generally. Hopefully, we haven't really discussed it too much, but there will be more of this sort of thing, not necessarily about the Ashes itself, but more of us guys, the two of us just sitting down and talking about random stuff, whether that be gaming, sport, cricket, Formula One, football, that sort of thing. Like Jamie, you cry for a month. That's probably a bit exaggerative. But, current affairs, all that
I
sort of
wouldn't
stuff.
put it past him.
No, true. I just hope that Stoke beat United on Monday. That'd be brilliant. But yeah, just thank you everyone. Really, simple.
What he said, a big thank you for everybody that's come along to the streams, left comments afterwards, and just turned up and supported us really, and just kept the chat going, give us things to talk about, because these things wouldn't work as videos. I think live streaming it is the way it works, and I think a big thank you to all of yous that have made it fun. And as Toby said, we will be doing something in the very near future, just sort of generally talking about things in life. We'll probably script it a bit. Well, not script it, but we'll have some notes prepared. As you know, me and Toby in this series have just been reading out stats from websites and BBC, and I haven't watched half of it, so it's a bit unprofessional, I guess, but it's different, innit? But we probably will take notes about things, and maybe even try and get people on the show, but you never know. I'm calling it a show. I'm getting all fancy about it now.
Takeaway, yeah.
What was the Forest Arsenal score? I heard it was 6-1 to Arsenal, but
I heard that.
But then I'm not sure. 4-2 Forest apparently. Oh,
I didn't hear that. I watched it as well.
Yeah, he watched it. Yeah. Well, 4-2 was the corner stat, actually.
Yeah.
You know what I love, Toby, is that Jamie thinks I actually care about all of this. He taunts us about being an Arsenal fan, but as I've said to you, I couldn't care less whether Arsenal win, lose, or draw. It's just they're my preferred team, but I'm kind of used to it now. I'm pretty sure you are with Liverpool as well. The way they've been up and down in recent seasons. So Gerrard slip and all that.
This is supposed to be an Ashes review, not. That's all for the future. Let's just sign this off and we can taunt each other in a private chat that you guys don't need to see. But yeah, I'll let the host with the fancy webcam board, because he couldn't be bothered to give me one. But let's just let the host,
I couldn't. Yeah. No, a big thank you to you guys, and a big thank you to Toby as well for coming along for all of these, taking time out of his very busy schedule to do this. And go and subscribe to him. His channel, I think, is down in the description, and if not, it's on my homepage, and it's just TIJ anyway, so just search TIJ. And he's got an Ashes cricket career mode going on at the moment with the one and only Joe Root, which has been very interesting. So big compliments to Toby for doing that. It's something different. I haven't seen anything like it. So go and check him out. And a big thank you for him coming along. And I'm sure we'll be doing much more of this in the future. John O'Martin, it could be worse. You could be an Everton fan this season. Especially if you watch my streams. It's but no, a big thank you to all of you guys for coming along, and until the next, well, not the next Ashes series, we will be back before then, and we'll be doing similar sorts of things, so hopefully see some of you there, but if not, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you have enjoyed, and if you're watching this as a video, leave down in the comments what you think. And I think that's where we're going to leave it. Anything else you want to say, or?
I can't really know. I can't think of like a humorous thing to end it off with, so I'm just going to hand it back over to you.
Oh, well then. Well, it's goodbye from him. He's not saying it. It's goodbye from him.
I'm not going to bother.
Okay. See you on the next one, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Good evening.
Goodbye.